For those of you who don't know, I'm Jon Aiello, otherwise known as Daddi Ravioli. Introduce yourself, mate.
The Usurper. Nah, yeah, Darcy Vendy. The Usurper.
The freshly crowned Eternal Middleweight Champion. Winner by third round knockout against John Martin Fraser to claim the vacant middleweight title, which was relinquished by a man we both look up to in our coach, Ben the Blade Johnston. What a weekend it was, eh?
Yeah, no, definitely a big one. A lot of ups and downs along the way, that is for sure. But at the end of it all, just fucking, got the job done. Did what we trained to do. Nothing more, nothing less.
Look, for those watching, like, it's pretty crazy to think about the back and forth that happened in the first two rounds. And like I've said it a few times, it was kind of like symbolic of your whole career. Like, I personally know you could have gotten the job done way faster and way cleaner, but it was almost like it needed the added drama to all culminate in that finishing sequence where you were like, nah, I'm not having it. It's me. I'm him.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think I said at one point it would have been underwhelming if it just ended up being like a ground and pound or a sub finish. Because I honestly feel like people would have still counted me out then, even now. That would have just been like, oh yeah, you just fucking did what we all expected you to do. Like, of course, mate. If you were going to win, that's how it was going to happen. But didn't happen like that. And
it certainly
had a
didn't.
bit of a spectacular finish instead.
It certainly didn't end that way. It ended in a spectacular finish, like you said. Just before we get into that and kind of talk through the fight, I think I'd like to point out, I was thinking about it the other day, we're both coming off main events, both wins in the third round.
Oh, yeah.
Both wins via stoppage, stemming from strikes.
Yeah.
Obviously, mine was nowhere near as emphatic, but I will claim it. There must be something in the water at the Fight Centre, Brisbane. That is another thing I wanted to, just quickly before we get into this, just give huge props to the man, Ben Johnston. There was something you said. I rewatched your interview, and it's hard. It's hard for me to watch without getting emotional because I know what he means to you and I know what he means to me. You're the man you are because of him. It felt like maybe just over a year ago, like I think it was around July that we made the move. We were like lost boys, and we've come to this place with Benny, and it feels like he's turning us into men.
Yeah.
Where we're looking up to him and we're like, that's the standard of what a good, hardworking man is. And the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, no, truly. Exactly what you just said. Like, he's probably... There's been people who, like, father figures and, like, brother figures and things along those lines, like, in my life as I've gone along. But it'd always be, like, a single personality trait, you know what I mean, with either of them, and then there'd be some other, like, detracting ones. So I felt like I could never really, like, fully look up to someone. But, man, fuck, he does so much of it right, eh? Yeah, like, and even just asking him about, like, personal things in life, like, yeah, just personal things. Like, he's not just a good fighter and a good coach, he's a good fucking man.
A great man.
Yeah. And, yeah, there's just, like...
What bad could you say about him?
Yeah. Nah, it's fucked, eh?
He's too tall. He rocks the bald look as well.
Yeah, it's fucked. Hung like a wasp. Yeah, no, nothing. He's, just kind of bewildering meeting somebody like that and being like, holy fuck, like, I want to fucking be like you and not like you. Like, I want to fucking be exactly like you, cunt. Because you just literally tick all of the boxes. You walk through the gym and people that, like, don't really have any interaction with him or whatever on a regular basis, he'll say hi, like, greet with every one of them, you know what I mean? Like, exudes confidence, exudes, like, that he's approachable, all of that kind of shit, you know what I mean?
How you going, Cobb?
Yeah.
Always. To anyone.
Exactly. Man of the people.
He is indeed.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's going to watch all of that and cringe because he's that kind of bloke.
Yeah.
Can't take a compliment. But we'll leave it there. We think the world of our coach and gym owner, Ben Johnston, at TFC Brisbane. Just on that as well, I thought we can recap the weekend a little bit. I just wanted to give a shout out to Maxi and Harry, who both fought very hard fights. They came up short in the end, but, you know, lessons learnt, lot to be taken away from that. And the stocks are still up, and those boys are probably I'm excited for Harry to transition into MMA, and I'm excited for Maxi is so young, and he's already had 7 fights. So with where they're both at, again, under Benny, I just don't think this setback is anything in the grand scheme of things.
I think it'll be especially so for Max, I feel it more. He is like 1 or 2 changes away from being the, like, scariest guy in the division, and not like the scariest guy because he's he's tough. Yeah, exactly. Shit like that. Scariest because it's like, oh, this guy's fucking literally got every skill set you could ask for, and he's got, like, the physiology that's going to enable all of that being performed at the best of it can possibly be. Yeah. And then Harry's sitting there going, like, effectively got, like, all of the experience you could ever ask for, probably going to walk in on his first fight, have, like, no
fear.
Yeah, exactly.
Performance anxiety.
Yeah, none of that shit. And because of who he is as a person, trains in a manner in which it's going to be just like Ben.
Yeah.
How Ben literally just walked up and was like, yeah, bro, I'm just going to learn straight from instructionals, get it from the source and fucking, like, A to B. Like, that's it. And he doesn't even have to do any of the rigmarole that Ben had to do in kind of, like, trying to learn, like, what he needed to learn along the process. Like, he's literally just going to get it handed to him and be like, here's the blueprint, bro. This is how you win MMA.
There's no fat trimming.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, here's the steak. Consume it, and you're good to go.
It'll be fucked. I reckon his first fight is going to be probably, like, a complete blowout.
I reckon it's going to be so hard to get him a match, though.
Yeah, no, it will.
But whoever it is, props to you. No one knew they were fighting Mike Tyson until they fought Mike Tyson. That's a quote from Ben Johnston as well.
Really?
Yeah. It's not a quote. He just says it all the time. I don't know if it's his quote directly. It's probably not. I'm pretty sure he's quoting someone else. Yeah. But he always goes, bro, no one knew they were fighting Mike Tyson. The first time they fought Mike Tyson. So I'm like, I like that. That's his phrase in my head.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But yeah, so full credit to the boys on that. I don't know why I said it like that, but there you
boys.
Go. The boys. I would also like to say, just before we jump into the bigger picture of things, it is pretty amazing to consider that Ben Johnston, the 2-time Muay Thai World WBC champion, submitted the scariest man in Australian MMA, and then you, the usurper, Darcy Vendy, the grappling phenom, the man who beat Robert Whittaker in wrestling, knocked him out. Is that not
a testament to what's happening at the gym? Absolutely. Yeah. Couldn't agree with you more. Even my brother actually said that to me.
Really?
Yeah. He was not that exact scenario.
Oh, okay.
Like, not that first. But he was like, man, it was just the one thing I always thought throughout your whole career. You just would perform so much better, I reckon, if you just had like a nice tight guard, you know, and just like had some like good defense when you were leading. And I was like, Why the fuck do you know that?
Sorry, this is Tyson?
Yeah, my brother. Yeah.
Okay.
No, he just threw that out there when he was like half cocked. And
No,
I was
okay.
just like, okay, dude. Like, universal truths coming out of your mouth is not what I thought I would be getting tonight, but fucking that's what we're having.
Oh, fair enough. Respect, Tyson. You know what you're watching, mate.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And just quickly, I've got these here for you. Just quickly, want to say thank you to the people who sponsored you for the fight, who got you there, made life easier. Do you want these just so you can have a reminder?
Yeah, go on. We have Cadence Cafe. Sorry to fuck the morning after party, inviting everybody that was not going to be there. But we're going to do that this Saturday. Oh,
We can't. We're in Byron.
Oh,
we
for
need to sort this
fuck's
out.
sake.
Actually, Sam, you messaged me and told me that these guys at Cadence are legends, and Sam, the head chef there and co-owner with Maddie, messaged me and said, boys, we're going to do a special this weekend in this man's honour, the King Vendy Benny Burger. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe they can run it for 2 weekends or what, but like maybe we'll go in tomorrow and like we could do like a taste testing thing.
I'll do that.
This might be totally irrelevant later on, but yeah, Sam, reply to me on, text me back, please. I'm trying to sort this out.
Yeah. Cadence of Legends.
We're still going to be there for breakfast most Saturday mornings before we go punch on.
Yep, guaranteed. And I'll eat now. CKM Logistics, Home DIY Kits, Breathe Ease, SPG Lawyers, AAA Excavations and Haulage, Sultan's Middle Eastern Grill. Check the YouTube channel. Time to Invest. If you didn't see the latest video of us having dinner there,
Thanks, Adil.
post-fight, you're a fucking legend, Adil. I actually really enjoy you as a person.
Also,
And Fanwear for making the beautiful shirts that people were adorned with a possibility. Yeah.
I would also like to say thank you to the people, Kia. Why am I blanking on the other name?
Do you need your notes?
Yes, please. Kia's just the one that I go back and forth with the most, so we've got a bit more of a founded relationship. But give me a sec. Why am I missing this? Where are you? Hannah. Yes. Kia and Hannah don't have names that are so similar. Thank you to you guys as well. Yeah, with Cage Kit, they look after me for all my training gear and clothing. Fight HQ looks after me for my training gear as well. So props to those guys. But yeah, Kia and Hannah made that whole process with Fanwear as well incredibly smooth. So yeah, thanks to everyone involved there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's get into a bit of chit chat, eh? Darcy, why did you start training MMA?
Oh, fuck. All right. I started doing MMA because I was between like a bunch of sports when I was growing up, doing like basketball, soccer, rugby league. And that was when I was like entering high school. And then everyone else started getting just as big as me. And I was like, yeah, fuck this, bro. Rugby league sucks shit. And then I started doing kendo with
Sticks?
yeah, the like Japanese sword fighting. That's like their national sport.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing that because one of my good friends, Ali Popple, at the time, he had been doing it his whole life. And he was just like, yeah, man, just fucking come along, have a go. And I was like, yeah, all right. Gave that a go. It was really fucking good. I love doing that shit. That was so much fun. But then he kind of just got over it because he'd been doing it his whole life. And he was like, I'm just going to go do MMA. And his dad was a boxer. So that kind of like led to him entering in on that as well. And then I just kind of followed him along. And then once I'd started, I was just like, fuck, this is pretty fun. I remember the thing that like solidified it for me was when I did my first grapple comp. I came dead last. I think that was like 6 months into training for me. And then I did another one like a month later because I was like, oh, I'm not going to like just completely give this up. Yeah. And then, yeah, did my second one like a month later and came first. And I was just like, oh, well, that's me. This is way too much fun. Like, fucking cunts up is sweet. Not that, but like, yeah, it was just like, kind of, it's like physical chess.
Nothing beats the rush of competition, hey?
Yeah, nah. Competition, outplaying people
that
as well.
realm as well.
Yeah. It's not like, yeah. Yeah. No, that was pretty much it. And then I just fucking stayed with it. Yeah.
No, mad. The next one, that was pretty. Yeah, that gives a. Thank you. Very clear understanding of why you started training. Where have you trained? Like where have you been through the past?
Man.
Because your career started what 2000.
Would have been. Yeah, probably like 2012. No, yeah, my first fight was in grade 12.
There you go.
Yeah.
So where were you training in the beginning? Where did you go? And how did you ultimately end up where we are now?
Started at a gym called Shindo New Breed in Mollendina.
We breed.
Just, they do indeed breed. Just down the road from where my parents live in Ashmore. It was like a 15-minute bike ride to and fro there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'd gone there with Ali. And yeah, just trained there and met people along the way and had the ups and downs throughout the process of being there. And I think I was there for maybe like probably like 7 years, I think. And
Gee, was it that long though?
yeah, it was fucking ages.
7 years.
Dude, Stockholm syndrome runs deep.
Bro, I was like, even
Yeah,
I didn't know that, dude.
Bro, I was a fucking kid. Yeah, and then that kind of came to a close, and me and my main training partner and best mate at the time, we went to. I'm kind of like shaky on the timeline with this, to be honest. But if I remember correctly, at the very end, for one, we had gone to Thailand together in the lead up to his fight, and I didn't get matched on that card. Mm-hmm. We were supposed to come back. And came back. That was that. He had his fight. He won. And then we'd gone to, if I remember correctly, we went to a few different places. We went to like Heartbreak, went to have a look at
Shout out to Cole, who fought on the weekend.
Yeah.
Longest living legend in the Australian MMA scene.
Says it himself. Nah, fucking, yeah.
So you went to Heartbreak?
Yep, went to Heartbreak, fucking went to Matrix Boxing.
True.
Went to, pretty sure there was one other joint.
Boonshu?
Before Boonshu, there was one more. I feel like it was integrated. But anyway, and ended up at Boonshu. And effectively was just like, all right, well, let's have like a few striking fights while we're here. And that never even really eventuated. We were there for like a year, and I think like I had like one or two pullouts, and then was slated to be matched against Jon Aiello from Strikeforce. They're like prize horse. Mm-hmm. I got staph. You can see it, little scar, staph in my quad right there. And that kind of put me out, and then had to pull out of that. And then this was like towards the end of the year, and I was just like, fuck, I really achieved nothing this year. Like, why the fuck am I still here trying to have Muay Thai fights at this point then? And then we buggered off to Southside in Springwood when it was at the Good Life there, arena. And we were there for a while. I think we were there for maybe a little over a year. And I'd fought and lost there as well. Didn't really have I don't know, stuff inside and outside of training was still not good then. But this was kind of the start of when it all started like
chugging
picking
along.
up. Yeah. This was pretty much when I was like, all right, the point with where I'm at in my career, like I'm not being true to myself and how I think things should be done. And I'm kind of like letting myself fall to the mercy of the people that are around me and just like kind of have the most fucking confidence. It's like, bro, if I can talk to you with enough confidence, like I'll sit there and be like, oh, well, I guess he has like some idea. You know what I mean? But everyone along the way really doesn't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of bad to say, but nobody really knows what the fuck they're doing in this sport. That was that anyway. And then went to combat training center. Oh, no. In between then, I was went to the Good Life in Bundle. And yeah, fond memories. Yeah, went to the Good Life in Bundle. And they had like Bundle Southside effectively being run through there in the arena section. And I was training between there and the Burleigh Southside and the Southside in Springwood. And that was cool. Yeah, just doing the BJJ down in Burleigh and just doing some sessions and stuff down in Bundle as well.
Shout out to Diego Queiroz.
Yeah, absolute G.
My OG BJJ training partner, or training coach rather, professor.
Think very highly of yourself, don't you? Nah, he's a fucking mad cunt, honestly.
He is. Absolute G.
Yeah.
Thank you, Diego.
And yeah, that was where I first not met but saw you at the Bundle Good Life as well.
I know.
Yeah. And it was because me and my mate at the time were like walking into the training area and saw you sparring
Sam Irvine.
Sam Irvine, yes. And me and this cunt were walking in there going like, bro, who the fuck are these cunts sparring in the cage? They look so Gumby. And then his name's Ty Wall. He's sitting there going like, bro, let's just ask him to spar and like just go fuck these cunts up and like kick him out of the cage. And I was like, oh, maybe like that does sound hilarious, but maybe not, bro, because they're literally like normies.
Keep in mind, he is a middleweight and Ty is a welterweight.
Yeah.
And they're looking at two normies who are just giving it a crack, trying to see if they can take some damage and wear it and go, yep, we're going to fight. This was well before I'd started training. And you know what the funny thing is? I fucking remember two hench blokes just standing there staring at us. And I remember your facial expression. I've never been more embarrassed. He was just sitting there pulling the, like, I was literally like, oh my God, we might be in trouble here. Like, I remember thinking like, dude, we're just like over here by ourselves. We're not trying to call, we're not trying to do anything flash. But keep that in mind. That came back to bite me in the ass because the first time I came to CMBT to train with your legitimized ass, because I'd seen you beat Robert Whittaker in wrestling, I came there and this Ty, we're just going to call him Ty. We've already said his name.
Yeah.
Ty's there. And I thought the world of Ty as well because I could see when they were training, he had it all. Like he was training, there wasn't one technique this guy could teach that he didn't understand. So my first night at a striking class with them, at the end of the class, we go, all right, guys, chuck your gear on. We're going to spar. I've never seen someone run across a mat so fast to go, I'm sparring you. And I was like, you have not spoken one word this entire class. I was like, okay. And he's wearing little shorties. He looks like the most legit dude I've ever seen, built like a brick shit house. And he beat the shit out of me. Like, no joke. He hit me with a knee to the body.
Yeah.
I did not shit right for 2 days after that. And I remember after it, he was like, we're sitting in a circle and we did the one thing you learnt, one thing you liked, one thing you saw someone else do well, just doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I feel like blah, 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 blah. And Ty said about me, he was like, I feel like this guy's got a good sidekick. Good sidekick to the body from Southpaw. Keep in mind, I used to watch a lot of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So I was like, come on, dude.
One day.
Michael Chandler now,
Like, nah.
but not Strat. And yeah, Ty said that, and he was like, it felt like you have some sort of martial arts experience. And then D goes, do you? And everyone's quiet, and I was like, oh, like, I've hit the bag a bit. And then Ty just goes, didn't I see you sparring at Bundle Good Life? And I was like, oh,
Me
yeah.
and Ty had a conversation prior to this, and we're like, this cunt's walked into the gym like he's a fucking beginner. We know that he's been putting in extra hours elsewhere. And then post-class, this is like, I was definitely not a very,
This guy literally
Not a
was
good
like,
person.
was like, oh yeah, that's bag work, isn't
I'm
it?
going to put you on show, cunt. Yeah, and then we were literally just like, all right, we're going to plan to call this motherfucker out after you bash him in sparring. How hilarious will this be?
Yeah, well, bastards.
look at me now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what a turn of events.
All worked out for the best. Good icebreaker, I guess.
Yeah. Not really.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
But
but
you went to Good Life Bundle.
Yeah.
You saw me,
Yeah.
and then you ended up going to combat after that, yes?
yeah, and then young Ty and I had gone to combat. They saw that competition with Robbie, and at the time James Sargentson, I was training with him at the Good Life in Burleigh, and he was like, oh bro, they've just hit me up to be a BJJ coach, like you should come along and see if we can get you a position doing wrestling or something. And I was like, man, fucking yeah, okay, because he was like, yeah, it's a sick gym, like they seem to be like really ambitious and are keen to like get the ball rolling and all of that. I was like, yeah, fucking oath, that sounds like the type of people I want to be around. And then, yeah, we went there. And, yeah, it was a pretty sweet environment. And had, like, a lot more, like, creative control over the training process and all of that. And it, like, paid dividends in the form of the Jack James and Alfred Stoddart fight. And throughout this whole process, kind of, like, people started seeing that success and looking to jump on board along the way. And, yeah, no, it was really good. Just got a lot of good shit done there. Yeah. Met this fella as well. He did the same.
That ties in to my next question. How did we meet? You recalled the first session?
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I remember.
I think it was to Joel from Southern Cross.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jolly Boy. He's a legend. Do you want to give the people a brief understanding of it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was teaching wrestling classes at the time, and whatever Friday afternoon this was at 4 p.m., it was young Johnny Boy and insert randomized character because the two of them showed up for class that day.
I was there early by myself. The other guy rocked up 5 minutes late. I remember the words, "Looks like you're getting a private."
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, sick.
Yeah, fuck. No, yeah, that was how that was. And I just figured like they were both beginners, so I was like, all right, well, let's just do some like beginner stuff. And I could sense the ambitious nature of John, and as we were going along, I was like, all right, guys, so we're not fucking leaving until you guys get like 5 perfect double legs in a row, like either of you. And we stayed like what? It was like 20 minutes or something. Or like not.
I think the open mat started, so we kind of had to like we cleared off to the side, and then like I think I ended up getting like 3, and then old mate was like, "Bros, I gotta get out of here."
Yeah. This cunt was fucking tapped. He was so tired. It was like, I guess it would be, but he definitely could have had stuff going on. Absolutely. But like, I can also almost guarantee that he was like, I'm fucking over this. Yeah. Like, this is not what the Warrior movie looked like to me. Jean Roca's supposed to having me kick the bag, and I'm going to be ready for my first MMA fight in a week. Yeah. And I was literally like, yeah, mate, double legs for fucking 1 hour. Cunt, let's go. But like, yeah, John was just all gung-ho about it. and like getting it done. And I was just like, yeah, fuck, mad cunt. Old mate just fucking disappeared, never to be seen again. And yeah, that was pretty much it. And then I think from that point onwards, it was just kind of like a slow integration of you showing up to sessions early and fucking.
But I feel like we have sort of just have to address the elephant in the room. You didn't really pay any attention to me until after you saw me get like bashed.
Yeah.
Like that. Like you did.
Oh, no.
You definitely, I know you did, but like,
Yeah.
I think that was like a turning point for us because you're literally like, you're texting me, telling me how to cut weight.
Yeah.
You're giving me sweet sweat. I felt like, let's try and make this as easy as possible for this kid, but like, I can't help him right now.
Yeah.
He's too close to the fight. It's not enough. Like, we couldn't do things the way we do it now. You were like, he's already agreed for the fight. He's so ambitious. You can tell he wants to fight more than anything. These guys they're just throwing him in, trying to make it as easy as possible. I remember you literally gave me one strategic technique.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I could fully do that. Second I got into the fight, I wasn't thinking about it. And no one knew to like corner me and tell me that.
Yeah.
So it just all went out the window. I think it was a big thing was you texted me the next day and you were like, how's the body? And I was like, I'm good. And you're like, good for training tomorrow? And I was like, yes, straight away. I was like, this is sick. I'm in the club.
Yeah. Nah, that's just always been a thing for me, kind of like it, because that's at least how I felt throughout my whole career. It was like, man, I'm sitting here willing to put in the effort and there's nobody really around that feels like they have enough of a knowledge base to actually lead me in the right direction. And the only people that I ever did feel like that was the case with weren't able to give me their time for whatever reason. They had some like little logistical situations.
Exterior factors that you couldn't control.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't, I couldn't really get the full experience as a result. So then when I reached a point where I was like, I feel pretty confident in showing people how it's done, that if I did see somebody like yourself that put that effort in, it just felt, just really not right to not like feed that flame. You know what I mean? And then especially so when there's like other people that are involved and you can see that it's like, oh, you're setting this cunt up for complete and utter fucking failure. And it might not be that like, it might just be that you like lose a fight, blah, 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 whatever. And then you peter off and you're like, man, this is not really for me. And then it's like, boom, you just go on with the rest of your life.
Which is completely what would have happened. Just for reference, I'm not a stupid person. I would have been like, oh, lost that one. If I'd lost again, maybe I would have given it one more crack. Then I'd just been like, this just isn't working for me. And I don't know how to fix it because no one's giving me the information. It's just like, yeah, bro, you win or you lose. It's a fight.
Yeah.
And I just would have been like, okay, well, I'll go find something that doesn't involve getting brain damage.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, like, it's not like you just lose a match and then that's the end of it. It's like you're physically destroying yourself in the process if you're doing it poorly. So yeah, just when I would like see, that's like happened with a fair few people in my life, training and along the way, and like I'm just really not okay with that. So when that situation came about, I was just like, oh well, fuck this cunt. Like this guy's actually willing to put the effort in us, like relative to everybody else that's around. Like this is like, you literally couldn't ask for more if you were a coach, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I am, but fucking, yeah. So it was just, let's put all the effort in. You're on the squad. If you want to put the work in, fucking come along.
This guy, best bloke I know. Well, I wanted to ask, you tell me if you want to talk about it or not. What was so different about the start of your career versus where you are now? But I feel like you've kind of just already covered it. You've spoken about how you've seen people who did have an idea, but they weren't able to give you the like relevant time and effort.
Just guidance.
You didn't really have that. Like you could see the people that could put it together or could tell you how to put it together.
Yeah.
But you just couldn't get that time with them. That's like, I suppose, one element of it. The other thing I would ask is, because I just want to ask because obviously I know the answer, but you made reference to it. And I think a lot of people would be curious. You were talking about who like I saw the interviews. Oh, who would have thought, like when you do weight cut the right way, you can take a shot.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing for me, because I remember when I was doing my research, as it were, about which gym to go to. Because for me, it was between Boon Chu and CMBT. The decider was you. Like I looked at it and I was like, this dude looks like he knows what's going. Stop. I was like, this guy looks like he knows what's going on, but for some reason he's not putting it together. Like I don't know why he's not putting. And this is before you'd had your Jack James fight.
Yeah.
So I was like, you were off the back of 3 losses at that point, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that and being like, I don't get it, but I feel like he's got such a good brain for it. It just looked like you knew everything. You just was like, it was like you were frozen because you just made weird decisions.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if that's a pressure thing or whatever, but regardless, I want to learn from this guy. So when I came and then you explained to me later on, you were like, yeah, dude, weight cutting was a huge thing. I never really gave myself the proper preparation. Can you just kind of speak to that a little bit?
The whole weight cut thing was pretty much just a matter of like really just not having the right information. Simple as that. Like, and it's not like it wasn't all out there. Like Geordie's been around for a long time, the fight dietitian, and I could have got onto him like tangibly earlier, and it would have made a massive difference. But at the time, was very much so like up my own fucking ass, and was like, dude, I know how to diet. Like you just fucking eat real food. You know what I mean? Like it's that simple, and like it is that simple kind of. But it's not, especially when you've got some like disordered eating and like metabolic damage from really stupid weight cuts and shit like that. And yeah, that's like, it was just all of that in combination with wherever I was at, because I have had this like potential for so long. Wherever I would go, the coaches would always just be like, look, mate, you need to fucking fight like ASAP, because like I want to ride these coattails because they're going to fucking go a long way. And I never really had my shit sorted outside of fighting, like literally just at my home with my family. And it was like I never really felt like I had a place where I could go to that I was just like, okay, like we've got some solemnity here. I can actually like decompress. It was like I went to training to escape from home. And then obviously like it became a thing where it was like even going to training was stressful. So it was like I was just constantly stressed out, constantly doing dumb shit related to diet and all of that. And it was just like a positive feedback loop for the problems that were causing that positive feedback loop. Yeah. And I kind of don't know where I was going with that. Pretty much it was just that like constantly getting pushed to fight, never having the time to be able to repair the things that were causing the problem in the first place with the weight cut. I really should have just at some point gone like, I'm taking like a year and a half off after say fighting like Matt Ellend or Isifidi Kefu, and just gone like, I'm taking this fucking time off. I'm getting my body sorted. And then we'll get back to it. But at all of those integers, there would always be somebody on the sidelines being like, mate, stop being a fucking pussy and get back in the cage where you're supposed to be. All right. And me being like an adolescent, or like a teen to adolescent to like young adult.
Incredibly young adult.
Yeah, exactly. And then like in a, yeah, I don't know. In a sport where really like fucking a lot of coaches don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So they kind of like make up for it by just being like obscenely overconfident, despite the fact that it's not grounded in reality. Yeah, just impressionable and would just do what other people would tell me to. Yeah. That's it really. And it didn't work out for me. And then it's only been over the last few years, like having met you and other people in my life that like could see the situation for what it was and be like, okay, let's fucking actually take the time to get this guy what he needs to get to where he needs to be. Yeah, that it's all been ticking along in a positive trend. You could almost say that like stocks are up. Yeah.
No, that's good because I feel like that's something.
Ramble.
I feel like that's that was like exactly what I wanted from that because obviously if you haven't figured out already, we're mates. Like I like Darcy. I think he likes me. We'll find it. Well, apparently not. So keep in mind, I know most of this info. I didn't know you were at Shindo for 7 years. That was, that was confusing. I thought, but it makes sense because you've been training for that long. It always wigs me out when I hear that like Benny's been training since he's 17. It's like he's 34, but like, bro, you're like one of the boys. You're like 25. In my head, you're like 25, but you're also 50 because of your wisdom.
Actually,
that's a big thing because I feel like even in the lead up to this fight, people don't have that external information. They don't have all of that, and they don't realize how that. Like Benny says it, when it's good at home, it's good in the gym. Like if you don't have everything sorted in your life, how can you devote all of your energy and focus to the task at hand? You're going to be caught in those moments, I don't know, you're going to have lapses of focus because in the middle of like a grappling exchange, you'll be like, God, I can't believe I said that to my mum, and then you're in an armbar or something. Now, I know that's a weird example, but that's to like try to contextualize it. That's what your career leading up before the Jack James fight was, hey. Just extra energy put elsewhere.
Yeah, pretty much. But like in relation to the example that you used, that's always been the problem. That when it comes to the actual fighting part, not fighting, but like competing, being in the gym, doing what you do, I was always on. Never had a fucking bad day in the gym. Like literally ever. So everybody that was ever watching me at the gym was just like, mate, what are you fucking doing? Get in there. But the like insurmountable amounts of pressure that I felt because of like that potential in combination with like kind of how it was at home was just what was keeping me in this like perpetually stressed state. And just straight up, my coping mechanism was just shoveling shit down my throat. And then that's probably not the best habit pattern to have for a weight-based sport.
Yeah.
And like, unlike a John Martin Fraser, I was like, nah, I'm not doing anything but at my perfect weight. He's out there fucking fighting Carlos Ulberg and having other matches at light heavyweight and getting the job done. I literally said to somebody about like a month and a half maybe before we'd fought that I was like, man, fucking I could have been John Martin Fraser, hey? Like he's really fucking good and always has been. And like, so have I. And if like for whatever reason I was just like okay with the fact that I'm like, yeah, bro, like I'm fucking carrying a bit of extra, like doesn't really matter. I'll fight up a division. I probably could have fucked a lot of cunts up. But like just was way too in my own head about what was expected of me. So I was like, it's literally 77 kilos, welterweight, middleweight, double champ in the regional scene, welterweight champ in the UFC. You know what I mean? It's like it's fucking all or nothing. And if it's not perfect, it doesn't happen. Yeah. So as a result, I just kind of never even started. Yeah.
Well, fair enough. That's, I suppose the example I used is probably more relatable to most people because I don't think some people, they don't feel the same pressure in the gym. But I know you're like, no, I need to win everything. I'm not going to practice losing. So in the gym, when there's no eyes on you, it's almost easier.
Yeah.
It's not almost easier. It is easier. I feel like if you look at my last 3 fights as well, it's the same sort of thing. Like I can perform heaps in the gym, but then like things just aren't going off as easily for me. But it's gotten better. I think you've definitely crossed that threshold now. And I hope I'm on my way. Just on that as well, because you just said it there, I just want to quickly give a bit of love and respect to John Martin Fraser, because this is something I saw on your Instagram when I was stalking you when I first was coming to combat. And I remember saying, give respect to your opponents, because without them, we don't have the opportunity to progress. So thank you, John. Without you, we wouldn't have seen the best version of Darcy Vendy on Eternal 91 on November 30th. Do you have anything you want to say?
No, honestly, not a lot really. Just like the first time I'd ever met John, we were like hit it off like fucking full pals, and then I don't know, this like fucking fake bad blood shit just gets pushed. I don't know. My whole thing on that is just that like, yeah, I'm trying to get to the UFC, and so is he. He's got a wife and kid on the way, and he's got his prospective future, and he would want it really bad just as much as I do, I'm sure.
That's exactly it.
I totally respect how whatever it takes for him to like get there, yeah, exactly, psychologically, that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's not me. And I felt really fucking disrespected people saying how I felt about him when I didn't feel that way. Yeah. That really was, fucking pissed me off.
I think that just kind of, it came off his end. It came off his end because obviously, like we've spoken about before, our opponents represent barriers between us and our dreams. Like, and this was the big one. This was like the biggest one. You, to John, represented everything that stopped his dreams from being a reality, and he represented the same thing for you. Although you looked at it as, how do I tackle this challenge? Whereas he looked at it as, how do I murder this person and get them completely out of the way? At least that's what it seemed like from the sidelines. And I feel like the fun making and the jibber jabber and the posting of memes, which are now hilarious.
Yeah, fuck me, they're that good.
Well, Nick, here's the thing. I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence. I'm just a big, hairy American winning machine. Nobody can hang with my stuff. It was clearly not felt on your end, at least from the people in the know. We knew that wasn't the case, but all said and done now. Respect to you, John. Thank you for bringing out the best in this man and allowing him to realize his potential, or at least part of it, because
there's a lot more to come.
We know there's a lot more to come.
Yeah, you're a sick cunt, John. You really are.
Thanks, bro. Now, boy, can you? We've got two sort of questions left. So, talk us through the fight. Tell me what you thought, what your emotions were, how does it feel upon reflection now? Because I feel like you can remember more of it now that it's a few days in the past than you do on the night. You know, when you're full of adrenaline, you're just I don't know, bro. Was it the 4th or the 5th? Like,
just like from the get go.
Yeah, why not?
Beginning, yeah. Well, like the first notable thing that I kind of was thinking was like as we were walking out, I'd never and I felt really uncomfortable about it. Had never felt more confident in my life leading into a fight, and it felt like really fucking foreign. Like I've never really been in a situation in and outside of the cage where like everything's been going my way, and then as I was going in was like kind of like fuck, maybe like I am the one wigging out here. Like I'm not like highly strung enough, and like John's walking around fucking like the animal that he is, and
doing the Rob Whittaker.
Yeah, exactly. Like aping out, and like I'm not fucking where I should be mentally right now. And I don't know. I was just kind of like had to make, I don't know, it was like, bro, I'm here. Who gives a fuck? Like, you're going to do it how you're going to do it right now. And that's that. So, like, feel whatever you want to feel because that's what you're experiencing. And, like, to do anything else is going to be making it harder on yourself. You know what I mean? Then he's walking out as well. And, like, as we're, like, in front of each other, facing off, I don't know, I kind of was just, like fairly, like I said, it kind of just went void a bit in the sense that there was no like back chatter in my mind or anything like there has been in the past sometimes where I'll like have little flashes of like thoughts of failure or like possibilities that might make it harder or anything like that. Like as I was in there staring across at him, like I was kind of just like, nah, I'm going to fucking end you. And like, that's it. Yeah. And then, yeah, we face off, get to business. First punch that he throws at me hits me in the ulnar nerve and my whole fucking left hand goes numb. That was the only time during the fight I had like 0.015 seconds where I was like, it was fucked up. I thought to myself, like, this can be the reason. This can be the reason that like it fucking doesn't work out. And like I said, it was for like whatever short amount of time. And I remember instantly thinking to myself like, nah, you're not that cunt. And you're already in here, bro. So just fucking do it. And like, because I've had moments like that. The reason it was like a bit jarring was because I've had these things in grappling competitions before where it's like, if this guy sweeps you now, you lose. And you have to just turn your fucking brain off and be like, nah. Rev the engine, bro. Do literally whatever you have to physically to make sure that this doesn't happen. And because I haven't done a grapple comp in so long, there was a few rounds at the gym and a few like sparring rounds and a few grappling rounds where that happened. Oren got me in an armbar.
I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah,
yep.
Right. And it was one of the last few sparring rounds that I did, and I literally remember thinking about because it was fucking on, and I hadn't had that feeling in like years. The last time I was in trouble in a grapple comp, and I remember thinking to myself, like, again, split second of being like, you can literally just be like, yeah, good one, bro, and that's the end of it.
Pretend you gave it to him.
Not even pretend,
no,
but literally just
I
be
know.
like, nah, good job, bro. Fucking well done. You got me good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would dead set remember being like, I'm going to let you snap my fucking arm, cunt.
Yeah.
Like if it happens in the gym, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm getting out of this because this is practice time for when I'm about to go fight this cunt that's like the fucking...
The boogeyman.
Insurmountable wall, yeah. The immovable object. The unstoppable force, rather, in his case.
The knockout king.
Yeah. Okay. Had that moment anyway, and then like that happened in the fight with my hand, and I was just like, nah, fuck that cunt. It's exactly the same as how it was with Robbie Parahar when you fucking rib popped. It's the same as this cunt when you fucking nearly broke your arm at fucking training a few weeks before the fight. It's the same as what it was with this other dude, where that's where the example comes from, and he was going to sweep me, and I was like, no, fuck that. It's me or him, and it's going to be me. And then, yeah, I just was like, nah, you're going to figure it out. And then just like kept going along, obviously. And then, yeah, first round kind of just ended up being a little bit of a snooze fest. I went in with the intention of being like, oh, well, we're going to slow Jon down a bit. Take away some of his like explosiveness over the first two rounds.
He's dangerous as fuck in the first round.
Yeah. And any like, not like talking shit, it's just fucking how it is. But like if you watch any of his fights and he's ever really gone past those few rounds, like he becomes a different fighter.
Yeah.
And one that's like one that I perceive to be very beatable at that point. But like for the first two rounds, John Fraser is not the guy that you want to fuck with in his...
You're not hanging around in front of him.
Yeah, no.
You can't do it.
That'd be fucking stupid. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to grab this dude, and if I end up getting him to the ground, sick. If not, I don't give a fuck because I know I'm going to make him tired in the clinch either way. And in the clinch being that it went into some of the other things that we'd seen were maybe his like not as defensible moments when he's like backed up against the cage. Like his feet draw together, obviously, because there's a barrier in the cage. But then like his guard seems to break down a bit. I think being like him being a unilateral fighter and only seems to revert back to one stance when he's on defense. Yeah, I thought there was some moments where him leaving the clinch would have been really abusable as well. That never really came about, and it just ended up being a fucking elbow fest between the two of us. And some like good striking exchanges out in the open once we'd broken. They were pretty cool.
How do you think the body shots affected him?
Yeah, no, I reckon that they. Oh, I don't know. You can
Talking about the knees as well against the cage.
Yeah. I think there was like one knee at the very beginning of the clinch in the first round that landed well. Everything else thereafter really didn't like hit that. Yeah, it didn't really hit. But then there was like a body kick as well. These were all things as well that like considering it's the 5-round fight, I was like, man, I'm more than happy to invest in this. And like, I feel like despite he seems like he might not be the most conditioned guy over the course of 5 rounds. If you're like, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like over the course of 5 rounds, it's like, bro, fucking, I'm gonna be real. Like all this Darcy Vendy V8 fucking.
Dude, those big muscles, did they burn out?
Big muscles, bro. They're just gonna burn out.
I know they make you hit harder, because that's a fact. But
that is a fact.
You are gonna gas out.
Yeah, that's just binary. Yeah, no, I definitely went in there going like, yeah, bro, I'm 100% going to be more conditioned than this guy.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, if I can chip away at his energy bar by smacking him to the body a bit, well, sure, and do it safely, that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, it kind of just ended up being a little bit of a one-sided lame fest on my part for the first round.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, got what I needed to win and won the round. And then the second round begun, and we kind of like ended up. Oh, actually, in between rounds, the boys were like, "Oh, bro, you can double leg him, just level change and like suck his legs out." And I was like, "Bro, I don't think you really understand. This cunt has a really fucking low center of gravity because he has insanely dense bones." Kind of makes sense why he's not like the most shredded man in the world or has like a lot of muscle, because I doubt he would fucking make weight if he had all of that extra muscle, because like he's got like fucking South African bones. Yeah, just like really heavy. And it felt like it would have been like really hard to level change and just pull his legs out from underneath him without him being able to put up all of his defenses in the process, that is. So I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to grab the cunt and I'm going to fucking make him tired and lame him out on the cage a little bit longer and get some of my chip damage in and then see what we can start doing in round 3. And that was that. Anyway, tried to get to that. And this is just, I'm just kind of like hitting key points throughout the process. Like he landed a good, like a nice elbow. I think it was a left elbow. And then he like followed it up with a little salvo of punches. And yeah, the elbow definitely fucking like, it didn't hurt me. Like, I don't know. I guess I can't, I don't really know on the scale of hurt to not hurt. Yeah. Probably
Did you go like, well,
yeah, I'd probably say to be like that more than anything. Yeah. Not like, where you like.
Your vision goes weird and you're like, my God, get away from him.
Legs. Yeah. Yeah. I did not feel like I had rubber legs or anything like that. It was like my vision was impaired. You know what I mean? Like you get hit in the head hard and it's like the white lights kind of feeling. Yeah, you get like sparked. But yeah, like I felt like my legs were under me. I don't know if you watch the fight. Like I feel like I'm blocking the large majority of what's coming back at me at that point. I specifically remember him throwing an uppercut and it was so weird. Me being like, me internally rotating my elbow and blocking it. And I literally remember blocking and being like, oh my God, you did that in the gym. That was so fucking sick. Yeah. Like, I had like a flash of that. And then like instantly had to come back to like, yeah, bro, please stop yourself from dying. Like, then that's going along. He's like landing some good stuff. And like, it looks really bad for me from like the outside looking in from what I could tell. And then watching it on the replay as well. Like I'm pretty sure everyone at that point was like, oh, here we go. Fucking John Fraser's about to get his free finish. Yeah. Then I shoot a double leg on him.
Yep.
Yep. And as well, even before that, like he's going to throw some combos again, slip over, and then I think I like grabbed the double leg because he like came in off of that. Actually, I didn't even shoot for a double leg in that part.
This was the first double leg. You shot later on.
Yeah.
This is kind
I
of
like
happening.
slip over. He comes in and I like just grab a double leg and then work my way back up to the clinch. And then like I'm landing some good stuff in that round as well from memory. And then it like happens again. Was it an elbow as well?
I think he threw something and you went back and he threw like two sort of strikes and then you just kind of, I could hear Benny was like, shoot,
Bro,
and you literally just dove under him. And
the start of the first round was the Welsh whip.
No, it wasn't. That was second round.
I mean, the second round, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, cool.
Fucking that was what like started that whole thing. And then the second one was the elbow, I'm pretty sure, in the clinch.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. This is like disconjointed. You're explaining something that I think happened later on in the round.
No, it did. It did.
No.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you could.
Mix the order of those up. Point being, anyway, like I reckon I got fucked up in the second round.
It didn't look good if you were a judge.
Yeah. Nah, he landed like two good shots in particular. The right hook that like if he had punched a little bit past like the center of mass of my head, I think that probably would have fucking conked me.
Yeah.
He like was losing velocity on that strike as it was going along.
This is the one that you got hit with, and it's so funny.
yeah.
Bro, it's so funny how slow it feels when you're watching it. I saw you go, nah, like yell nah and go, like it happened so slowly. You look at the fight replay, bro, you can't even
like
see it.
Instant.
It's like, you're like, nah, and then it's no one would even pick up on the fact that happened unless you know you.
This was literally, so yeah, that was like, John Fraser was effectively the manifestation of all of my failures in the past, in the sense that the three losses that I'd had up until that point, not the first one really, but the two prior, Issy Fitty Kefu and Jimmy O'Brien, all dudes that were like hitters and were shorter than me. And I had it in my head that I was like, I was like sitting there going like, is it the weight cut or is it the fact that I just can't take a fucking shot? And if that's the case, probably don't want to do the sport anymore because that's an attribute you kind of need. And then with John Fraser, it was me sitting there going like, fuck, bro. Like I wanted to have, this was like part of the reason of the bad blood. I wanted to have two fights beforehand. And I was like, I'm just going to let you do what you want to do, bro, and put you on the sideline and I'll fight you at the end of the year because I want to fight two other guys so I can kind of like scale my experience up and then like go for him as the final boss. And then it ended up just being, it was like, yeah, you're just fighting him now, bro. So fuck it, whatever.
You don't really get a choice, dude.
Nah, you don't.
You fight Johnny or you sit out for a year and a half or 2 years and wait for someone to emerge that's, you know, you could have done that and ended up fighting, you know. Well, imagine then you get put in a weird situation. It's like, yeah, bro, it's Cam Rouston now.
Yeah,
but that's our teammate. So no.
It was pretty much posed to me that it was like, yeah, bro, this is the only fight you're allowed. And if you don't take it, you're going to get shut out of fighting on any other promotion. And I was like, all right, well, cool. If you want to play that, well, let's fucking do it then. But yeah, that was the whole thing anyway. It was just like, he was the like personification of all of the failings that I'd had up until that point. And the same thing happened with the Jack James fight. He hit me in the back of the head and I literally like smirked at him and I was just like, yeah, I fucking knew I wasn't chinny cunt. It had nothing to do with that. It's because I was like destroying my brain and body, doing weight cuts like a silly bastard. And then, yeah, same thing. Hits me with that. And then like I backstep off of, like I am reeling from it, like pulling back that is. And then as he's coming in, I just was like, nah. And like audibly said it and was like, yeah, same thing. I was just like, yeah, bro, I fucking know that's not how it goes. He didn't hurt me with it. And I was just like, I'm fucking so okay, bro. Keep coming. Like, this is not going to be what you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
But I assume on his end, he saw me like obviously have like
He saw you rebalance. That guy's wobbly.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. And then, yeah, that went along and then shot a double leg again because it's like at the end of the day, that is still like he's just deciding like, bro, I'm about to put a lot of fucking pressure on you. And like, it's very easy for shit to slip through, that is. And then, yeah, double legged him, grabbed him, brought the intensity back down, made it nice and slow, got some like short shots in. I think that was when maybe I was landing those knees with my back against the cage.
Yep.
And I feel like they kind of like brought the tempo down a bit.
You guys just kind of had like a dirty boxing back and forth
Yeah.
for the last sort of 90 seconds of the round, I think.
Yeah.
After you'd landed those knees against the cage, you reversed him. It just kind of went back and forth.
Yeah. But like I definitely lost that round. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's about moments, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's about who had the bigger moments.
Yeah.
And honestly, I know it's hard to see. You rocked him in the second,
No, I
like
know.
twice, 3 times.
Yeah.
But it goes on what looks better. It looked like that right hook.
Bro, for
You did a
one,
dance.
we don't even fucking know if I rocked him.
Well,
You know what I mean? We're seeing what we see on the TV. You won't know that unless you ask it.
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
That is actually fair enough. It looked to me like the shots. There's one in particular, like an over left, where it looked like as you were going forward on him, I was like,
Yeah.
bro, that if you hadn't gotten straight on him,
Yeah.
that's a moment where like you would have landed another 2 and it would have been.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I thought, but that's obviously me knowing how fucking hard you hit and that sort of shot, like that short shot as he's moving to that
Yeah.
side, and then what? The round closes out. Talk us through the third round. Come on.
Yeah, no, the yeah, pretty much more than anything, all I was thinking, like, I'm pretty sure it was that round from 2 to 3. I remember, like, I wasn't hearing shit that fucking Ben and Tom was saying, honestly. Like, at that point, I was like, bro, we didn't corner, you didn't corner me in the sparring rounds leading up to the fight. I am not hearing anything that's coming out of your mouths. I heard shoot like once or twice from Tom and Ben. Everything else I missed. And then, yeah, like at that point, I was like, man, this is like a psychological war at this point more than it is anything to do with the fighting. Like, yeah. Or like it's like a momentum-based thing.
A war of attrition, as they say.
Yes. But I remember, I'm pretty sure it was this round, looking across and Don Marfan looking back at me. And I remember looking straight at him being like, yeah, bro, you don't know what your fucking boy's getting into. Like, that's what I felt. At least that's how I felt, rather.
Yeah.
I was looking at him going like, yeah, you're looking back at me for something that you know what I mean? Trying to find something that isn't there, dude.
Is he tired?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it felt on my end, rather. Again, don't know what the fuck he was feeling. He
Well,
was
you gotta-
probably thinking something completely
You got to think as well, though. Like, yeah, obviously, like that's a thing that you're telling yourself. You're like, I feel that right now because that's motivation.
Yeah.
You've also got to think as well. That very well could have been the case, bro. Because when does John go past the first, let alone the second?
Yeah.
You know,
And then coming out into that round and seeing his body language at the start of the third, a lot of huffing and puffing, that
was reassuring.
yeah, no, it truly was. I honestly, yeah, I came out into the third and I was like, oh, I'm about to start fucking rolling over you, man. Yeah, you know,
No, we're all good. We're all good.
no, goes.
Keep going.
Um,
We'll wrap it up soon, but
Yeah.
continue.
and yeah, then the round starts. We start doing what we're doing anyway, and I can't remember exactly how the very beginning of it happens. I'm sure you would, but the like first key point that I remember from that round was I think leaving the clinch and me hitting him with like the left elbow into the right hook. I think.
And then him immediately returning with a like right hook, left cross, and
Yeah.
backing you up.
But it was that like I fucking like I'd heard him.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, sweet. And then like it was like, oh, I'm gonna start fucking getting busy now.
Chugging forward.
And then yeah, he comes back with a bit of a fucking salvo, and I was like, holy shit, cunt! Like, all right, like sweet. Like like I said, I knew it like when we were watching his tape. Like he's got a fucking sick poker face, like really good. And he obviously in this instance, as compared to the Nathan Reddy fight that he had gotten used to being like going back on offense when he gets hurt.
Yeah.
And seemed like that when he fought Alfred and got hit with the check hook.
Yeah.
And the same with Brogan Anderson. I don't know if the jab from Brogan Anderson hurt him per se, but it seems like when he's like
When anything can be perceived as success on the other end,
yeah,
return with
exactly.
aggression
Yeah.
because that is demoralizing as fuck. You hit someone with a hard shot and their reaction is walk forward. You're like, I'm going to get knocked out.
Yeah. And then it obviously looks good to the judges as well. It's like, oh, remember, that just never even happened.
Yeah.
It obviously did nothing to it. Then he like starts coming forward at me and like throwing a bit more. And then we like circle off of the cage. And then he, then we kind of just like met in open space. And I just like launched up the lead side close stance kick from southpaw, and that this was like it's fucked because I intuited like prior to the fight watching all of his tape that it seemed as though his like rear hand wasn't necessarily on the like back quarter panel of his face here it was like sitting almost on like the front quarter panel or like at his chest, like getting ready to throw across like his center line. So it was like he was buffering it, throwing dead straight as compared to having some passive defense. And then given like the Alfred fight with that check hook and the Nathan Reddy fight with that right hook from Orthodox and the Matt Myers fight with some shots that he landed on the backside of his head, I was like, man, I fucking swear I can get shit like either inside or behind that rear hand.
Yeah.
And we just opted not to go for it. But then in this instance, I literally remember sitting there and just being like, I'm gonna fucking Alfred this kind of.
I'll do it again.
Yeah, dead set. I was like, nah, I know I can. And it was obviously because of all of the right hooks that I'd landed up until that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, it was like hit confirming my thought processing on that. And then, we'd got to that point. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to send this because I reckon it'll do all right. And then, lo and behold, it cracked him and wobbled him. And then just like started to
pick away.
Yeah, exactly. That was it, really. And knew that he is the type as well. I was like, man, I can't be overzealous.
He'll lash out.
Yeah, he'll do some like hectic shit and just fucking one bomb me. So like I've got to take my time. And then, he did at some points. Like, he threw some shit back that, like, if it was landed flush, like, fuck, would have done me, I'm sure. But, just, like, took my time and got into where I thought I would originally, backed up against the cage. The intention was to get in his fucking face and back him right up, but, like, man, it just seemed like he was not willing to give a single step of ground.
Too, you get one piece off and he's coming straight back. It's like, how do I get the ball rolling?
Yeah, the Matt Myers fight was not indicative of what he acted like on the night, that is for sure. And then eventually like got into the cage, and then once we were there, like I was like, yeah, man, I feel like he can't build enough forward momentum with his back against the cage to like really get anything off that I'm not gonna be able to evade or be defensively sound against. So it was like I felt like I was landing like one or two shot engagements and then could back out and then just go again, you know what I mean, without having to worry about him smashing me with anything too important. And then we just followed it along and hit the old gazelle hook, little gazelle hook into like a shifting shovel hook,
Bailey
from
Watson.
Orthodox.
Come on, man, I told you it's good.
And then just fucking. I was kind of surprised, honestly, when he like hit the deck. I literally was just like, I don't know, I just didn't expect it to kind of happen like that. When he was there, I was just like, oh fuck, you're there now, okay. Like, I was kind of sitting there going like, bro, this cunt has taken that much. I'm probably just gonna have to TKO him standing. I thought it was going to be like a Henan Barrow TJ Dillashaw.
True.
Yeah, after I'd hit him with some of the shots that I did like standing up, I remember being like, fuck, man, like that hurt my fucking knuckles smacking you in the head then. Like, and it like, I think they were on the temple, but like he's clearly just like copping it. This is going to have to be one of those ones where I like dip, dodge and dive and fucking like do it to him slowly, you know what I mean? Take care of him. Nah, that's kind of dog.
Yeah. Well, that's like, again, Johnny Boy is so tough.
Fuck
like
up.
I was in there. I was like, "When's he coming back?" I was like, I was sitting there watching because I'm literally right there underneath, as you'll see in the YouTube video, little girl. I'm literally sitting there watching that happen, and I'm like, I'm still kind of like panicking. Like I know you're finishing him, but I'm like, what happens when like he's still there after copping all of this at the end of it? Like I've never seen you do that to someone else, so I don't know how you're going to react. Like, are you going to be like, all right, well, just keep blasting doubles because you can't knock him out.
Bro, I'll tell you right now, I'd fucking gas in the tank.
I know you do, but it's
I
like
was
there's
legit like,
money in the bank.
This ain't gonna work like that, brother.
But it's just like one of those things where it's like if he's still standing, is he fine?
Yeah.
Like, is he just totally fine getting yocked and yocked and yocked?
Mm.
So yeah, I think I don't know. I know like when people are like, how did it feel when you did it? You were kind of like, I didn't expect it to do anything because nothing else I'd done really showed true effect.
It's stupid to think like that as well. You never want to be the guy that never want to try and be the guy that's going to be the first person to knock someone out.
Yeah.
The cunt that thought he was going to be the first guy to knock out Nate Diaz, more often than not, just got TKO'd in the process. It's like, bro, if like they're not going to fall over, you literally just hit them and like take care of yourself in the meantime. And if they fall over, they fall over.
Yeah. You take the win when it comes.
Yeah, exactly.
But have the right strat before that.
Yeah.
Hope that it leads to it. Don't go in there with the intention. Look at Dimps. He's still rolling. Well, with that, obviously, I can imagine you feel amazing. You feel like you've accomplished you've written one chapter of a fucking huge book. This podcast, just for reference, isn't your typical podcast. Like I plan to do more of these with this gentleman. The Time to Invest podcast, I guess. We'll probably come up with a different name just so it doesn't come up on stock feeds. Maybe Usurp the Lands. Who knows? I feel like Usurp the Lands, but
It shouldn't be fucking. It's too all about me already, dude.
well, no, that's the thing. I was going to say this one is specifically introducing this guy to the world because not many people knew about you. Like, knew about you personally.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have the privilege of talking to you every day and hanging out all the time. So this one, like I said, is a bit more of a highlight of this gentleman. The following podcast will probably be more generalized. You'll hear more from me and our sort of whatever's going on, whatever's coming up. We'll talk about UFC fights, our teammates, stuff like that. This man on Instagram at the Usurper MMA, myself, Daddi_Ravioli _MMA, Daddi with an I. We want to keep the ball rolling. I'd like to do one a week or one a fortnight at least, but
Awesome.
it is a bit of a costly thing. So I'm putting this out there for the first one. If you guys want to sponsor us for the podcast and keep them rolling, we're even happy to take suggestions of content as well. We'll obviously plug whatever business it is. But we're excited to keep this sort of momentum because the stocks are up and the time to invest is now because God knows where you should see the projections. I can't even begin to fathom.
Capital already, mate.
So yeah, if you're interested in collabing with us, hit me up via Instagram or him. You're talking to the same person. Don't get me wrong. He does he hears everything that's on there. I do pass it on, but mate, thank you for the time. That's us, Uso.
That is us.
All right, ding ding ding. Until next time, guys.
Stocks are up.